Your palms are sweating, your heart is slamming against your ribs like it is trying to escape. Your stomach has turned into a washing machine, and your brain, the same brain that can solve equations, and remember song lyrics from 15 years ago, has completely forgotten how to form a normal sentence. You are not dying. You are not sick. You are just looking at someone you like. And somehow your entire body has decided to betray you at the worst possible moment. But here is the strange part. This is not a malfunction. This full-body meltdown is one of the most precisely engineered chemical events your biology is capable of producing. And when you understand what is actually happening inside you, it becomes clear that falling in love is not poetic. It is not magical. It is a hostile takeover of your nervous system, and your body has been planning it behind your back for 200,000 years. Let us start with the moment it begins. You see someone. Maybe across a room, maybe on a screen, maybe someone you have known for years, and suddenly something shifts. That shift is not in your heart. It is in your ventral tegmental area, a tiny cluster of neurons buried deep in your midbrain. Within milliseconds, this region fires and floods your brain with dopamine, the same chemical that spikes when you gamble, when you eat sugar, when you take certain drugs. This is not a gentle wash of warmth. This is a targeted neurochemical strike. Researchers at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine scanned the brains of people who had recently fallen in love and found that the activation pattern was nearly identical to cocaine addiction. Not similar, nearly identical. The same reward circuits, the same craving loops, the same withdrawal symptoms when the person is not around. Your brain has essentially drugged you without your consent, and the high is so powerful that it rewires your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational judgment. This is why new lovers make terrible decisions. It is not stupidity, it is pharmacology, but dopamine is only the opening act. Once the initial attraction locks in, your hypothalamus triggers a cascade that goes far beyond the brain. Your adrenal glands start pumping adrenaline and cortisol, the exact same hormones your body releases when you are being chased by a predator. This is why your heart races, your hands tremble, your mouth goes dry, and your digestive system shuts down. Your body cannot tell the difference between a lion attack and a beautiful face. To your ancient nervous system, both are emergencies. Both require your full attention. Both could change your life permanently, and this is where evolution reveals its hand. 200,000 years ago, on the African savanna, choosing the right mate was arguably the most consequential decision a human could make. It determined whether your genes survived or vanished. So evolution did not leave this decision to your rational mind. It hijacked your threat detection system instead. That butterfly feeling in your stomach is not romance. It is your fight-or-flight response activating because your body has classified this person as a survival-level event. Now here is where it's even stranger. While your body is in full emergency mode, your brain is simultaneously running a completely separate operation, one designed to make you obsess. Serotonin, the neurotransmitter that keeps you calm, stable, and able to think clearly, drops dramatically when you are falling in love. A study published in the journal Psychological Medicine by Donatella Muraciti at the University of Pisa found that serotonin levels in new lovers were virtually indistinguishable from patients diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Read that again. The neurochemistry of new love is clinically similar to a recognized anxiety disorder. This is why you cannot stop thinking about them. It is why you check your phone every 30 seconds, why you replay a single conversation 14 times, why you analyze a 2-word text message like it is an ancient cipher. Your brain has literally entered an obsessive loop, and it did this on purpose, because evolution decided that in those critical early weeks of bonding, you needed to be unable to think about anything else. And your body has more tricks. Phenylethylamine, a natural amphetamine your brain produces during attraction, accelerates your heart rate and triggers the release of endorphins. Oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, starts flowing during physical touch, eye contact, and even just proximity to the person. Vasopressin locks in long-term attachment circuits. Each chemical has a specific job, and together they form a cocktail so powerful that neuroscientists have compared it to a carefully designed pharmacological regimen, except you did not choose to take it. You cannot control the dosage, and there is no off switch. Your body assembled this drug internally, deployed it without warning, and your conscious mind is just along for the ride. But perhaps the cruelest trick your body plays is what it does to your perceptions. When you are in the early stages of love, your brain actively suppresses the neural pathways associated with critical judgment and negative assessment. Brain imaging studies have shown reduced activity in the amygdala, the region that processes fear and suspicion, and in parts of the prefrontal cortex linked to social evaluation. In plain language, your brain turns down your ability to see flaws. The person you are falling for is not actually perfect. Your neurology is just temporarily editing out the imperfections. Researchers call this positive illusion, and it is so consistent across cultures, ages, and genders that some evolutionary psychologists believe it is hardwired. A feature, not a bug. Because if you saw the other person with full clarity and total rational judgment in the beginning, you might never bond deeply enough to form the pair attachment that keeps human offspring alive. Through years of helpless dependency, this brings us to the uncomfortable evolutionary logic underneath all of it. Human babies are born catastrophically underdeveloped compared to virtually every other mammal. A horse walks within hours of birth. A human infant cannot even hold up its own head. This extreme helplessness lasts years, and for most of human history, it required two parents cooperating intensely to keep the child alive. Evolution's solution was not to make humans more rational about choosing partners. It was to make the bonding process so chemically overwhelming that rational choice barely enters the equation. Love, from a biological standpoint, is not about finding your soulmate. It is about creating a neurochemical bond strong enough to keep two people together, long enough to raise a defenseless child through the most vulnerable years of its life. Every racing heartbeat, every sleepless night, every obsessive thought, it is all engineering. Your genes are building a bridge between two people, and they are using your entire body as construction material. And then there is the timeline. The intense, obsessive, dopamine-drenched phase of love does not last forever. Research suggests it typically lasts between 12 and 18 months. After that, the brain's reward system recalibrates. Dopamine levels normalize. Serotonin returns. The prefrontal cortex comes back online, and suddenly you can see the other person clearly again. This is the moment most people describe as falling out of love, but neurologically, it is actually just your brain returning to baseline. You were never seeing clearly before. You are seeing clearly now. The transition from passionate love to companionate love, driven more by oxytocin and vasopressin than by dopamine, is one of the most misunderstood experiences in human life. People panic. They think something is broken. They think the love is gone, but what has actually happened is that the emergency phase is over. Your body has decided the bond is established, and it is switching from the costly, resource-intensive obsession protocol to a more sustainable, long-term attachment mode. The love is not gone. The drug has just changed. What makes all of this truly unsettling is how little control you have over any of it. You did not decide to fall in love. Your ventral tegmental area decided. You did not choose to obsess. Your serotonin levels chose. You did not plan to ignore red flags. Your amygdala was suppressed. And you will not decide when the intensity fades. Your dopamine receptors will downregulate on their own schedule. The entire experience that poets have written about for millennia, that wars have been fought over, that people have destroyed their lives for, is a carefully sequenced neurochemical program running on hardware that was last updated for the African savanna. You are running ancient software in a modern world, falling in love with the same desperate biological urgency that once kept our species from extinction. Your body does not care about your dinner plans or your career or your emotional readiness. It has identified a potential genetic partner, and it has launched every weapon in its chemical arsenal to make sure you do not walk away. The next time your hands shake and your words stumble and your chest tightens around someone, understand what is really happening. Your body is not betraying you. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. You are just not in charge.